Okay, so we're jumping right into a subject that I think most people see as, well, just art.
Right.
Mm?
But really creative.
But it's secretly one of the most powerful ways to train your brain for, overall success. We're diving into musical discipline.
It really is the ultimate life hack. We're not just talking about learning how to play a song.
No.
We're looking at how that consistent, focused training,
Uh,
how it fundamentally changes the way you approach challenges in school, sports, anything you care about.
so the mission today is to really get into this idea. How does the dedication it takes to master an instrument give you a competitive edge? What even is musical discipline?
At its core, it's about a commitment to structured, deep work. For you, this really looks like two simple things you do every day.
Okay.
First, you set aside specific, distraction-free time every single day. No exceptions. That's your commitment.
And the second part?
The second part is a commitment to repetition. But it's repetition with quality control. If a part is hard, you don't just skip it. You commit to repeating it patiently until it's smooth and correct. Every time. It's the difference between doing something until you get it right and doing it so many times you can't get it wrong.
I think a lot of people starting out think discipline means you get it right away. They try, they fail, and they think they're just not disciplined.
Yeah, they're confusing discipline with talent. Talent might make the first few weeks feel easy, but discipline is the patience to accept that you're going to improve slowly over a long time.
So it's more like a marathon.
Exactly. A runner doesn't just go out and run 26 miles on day one. They run a half mile, then a mile, then two. It's that slow, steady building of capacity. That's musical discipline.
And what's fascinating is the connection to the brain. Learning music literally teaches your brain how to learn.
It does.
If you can handle reading notes, coordinating your hands, listening to the sound, feeling the rhythm, all at the same time, you've built this incredibly powerful system in your head.
Absolutely. And students who learn that methodical approach find they can suddenly focus better on a hard algebra problem or writing a long essay. They've trained their brain to break big tasks down and, tolerate the frustration that's required to get good at something. It's a mental strength that you can use everywhere.
Let's talk about building that routine. If we're saying consistency is key, how do you actually fit practice time into a life that's already packed?
The number one rule is routine. You have to carve out a dedicated time, almost like it's another class on your schedule. The goal should be at least 30 minutes a day. And here's the crucial part. Consistency is so much more important than how long you practice in one go.
So why is 30 minutes every day better than, say, 3 hours on a Saturday? It feels like less work.
Because how your brain learns. When you practice every day, even for a short time, you're firing up those neural pathways related to that skill constantly.
We're keeping them active.
Right. If you only practice once a week, those pathways start to fade. You spend the first hour of your 3-hour session just getting back to where you were last week. Daily practice means you're always moving forward.
That makes so much sense. You're keeping the path clear. So what should those 30 minutes actually look like? You can't just jump into the cool new song, can you?
No, every single session has to start with a warm-up. For a guitarist or pianist, that's finger exercises. For a singer or a trumpet player, it's breathing, long tones. You're getting your body and your mind ready to focus.
And it's this daily repetition that builds what we call muscle memory. That term can sound a little bit like magic. Can you break down what's actually happening?
Yeah, it's basically the brain automating commands.
Yeah.
So when you first learn a piece, your conscious brain is working overtime, monitoring every single note, every finger placement. It's hard work.
Right, you have to concentrate so hard.
But when you repeat those movements correctly, day after day, the brain says, okay, I got this, and it shifts that task to a different part of the brain, the cerebellum.
It's like hitting the autopilot button.
Exactly. The movement becomes an automatic program running in the background. So you're playing without thinking about the notes, which frees up your conscious brain to focus on the expressive stuff, the feeling, the dynamics, how you're communicating to the audience. That's the leap from just hitting notes to actually making music.
And a good routine needs tracking, right? It's not
Right.
just about playing, it's about making sure you're using that time well.
100%.
Yeah.
You need specific, achievable goals for each session. Don't just sit down to practice. Say, today I will master measures 14 through 18. These little wins keep you motivated and show you you're actually getting somewhere.
Okay, let's get into the part students often want to skip. Scales and technical exercises. They feel repetitive. They can feel, frankly, a little boring.
They can feel boring because they're not the song, but they are absolutely essential. Scales are the basic structure of almost all Western music. If music is a language, scales are like the alphabet and the grammar rules, all rolled into one.
So it's not just about moving your fingers up and down, it's about understanding why those notes even belong together.
Precisely. They teach you the relationship between notes, how keys are built. So when you see a piece in D major, if you already know that scale inside and out, the whole piece feels familiar. You understand the landscape.
And the physical benefits are huge. All that scale work builds finger strength and agility. When you hit a really fast, complicated part of a song, that speed only comes from the boring scale work you did months ago.
And those technical exercises are all about refining your tone and accuracy. You can't rush them. This is where you learn to listen. Really listen. Is the sound clear? Is it fuzzy? You have to pay close attention to the quality of the sound, even on simple things.
That focus on quality, that's a huge discipline hack. It is so tempting to just speed up a scale to feel like you're getting somewhere, even if you're making a bunch of mistakes.
And that's the worst thing you can do because you're actually practicing the mistakes. You're teaching your muscle memory the wrong thing. It takes real discipline to play those exercises slowly and perfectly. Slow and perfect builds reliable technique. Fast and sloppy just builds frustration.
And this is where the metronome comes in. It's not optional.
Not at all. The metronome is your objective truth. It gives you a rock-solid internal sense of rhythm and timing. If you struggle with rhythm, the metronome forces you to be honest about where the beat actually is.
Beyond just rhythm, the big payoff seems to be in sight reading. When you see new music, why does all that repetitive work make it easier?
Because you've trained your brain to recognize patterns. You've drilled those scales and arpeggios thousands of times. So when you look at the sheet music, your brain doesn't see 12 random dots. It sees a pattern it already knows, a movement it's already made. It makes you a much, much faster learner.
Let's switch gears to the mental game. Because every musician hits a wall. You're practicing one tiny part for the 10th time, it's still wrong, and you just want to quit. That moment of frustration, that is the real test.
It is. That's the reality of learning anything hard. Discipline means staying calm and trying again, even when it feels like you're making zero progress. Getting angry is the worst strategy. It just tenses your muscles and clouds your focus.
So when you hit that wall, what's the discipline move? How do you get past that impossible part?
You step back and you make the problem smaller. If a 10-measure phrase is the problem, break it down. Practice just 2 measures at a time. Master those 2.
Just 2.
Just 2, getting flawless. Then add the 3rd measure, then the 4th. You turn one huge, impossible task into a series of small, achievable goals.
And that builds perseverance. The ability to keep going when you really want to quit. It applies to everything, studying for a test, training for a sport.
It's the moment where most people give up, which means if you can push through, you have a huge advantage. But, and this is also key, mental toughness also means knowing when to walk away for a few minutes.
The strategic break.
Yes. Taking a 5-minute break, getting some water, and coming back fresh is a much more disciplined approach than just banging your head against the wall for 30 minutes while you're stressed out.
Because the progress often comes right after you felt completely stuck. You were building the foundation the whole time.
Exactly. Learning to manage that frustration. That's one of the most valuable lessons music teaches you that has nothing to do with music. You learn to trust the process.
Moving from the practice room to the stage, let's talk about posture. Why is sitting up straight so important?
It's about efficiency and preventing injury. Correct posture means your body isn't fighting the instrument. If you're slumping, you're creating tension in your muscles. That slows you down, it limits your breathing, and over time it can cause real pain.
Can you give us a specific example?
Sure, for a pianist, keeping your back straight and your elbows level with the keys lets the natural weight of your arm create the sound. You get a much fuller, stronger tone with less effort. For a singer, an open posture is everything. It maximizes your lung capacity so you can support those long, powerful notes.
So discipline means you're constantly checking your form until it becomes automatic. Am I sitting right? Are my wrists relaxed?
And that physical discipline feeds right into performance. When you're on stage, you need intense focus. You have to be able to filter out everything. Your own nerves, noises from the audience. You're always thinking a few measures ahead.
What happens if you make a mistake? Because everyone does.
The disciplined mind recovers instantly. You hit a wrong note, but the audience probably won't even notice if you stay calm and just keep going. The undisciplined player panics. They stop, and they make a tiny error into a huge deal. The disciplined player just moves on.
And then there's the intellectual side. Music theory. Let's make this simple. Why should you study theory?
Theory is the rule book. It's the language of music. If scales are the alphabet, Theory is the sentence structure, the grammar. You could even call it the cheat code for music,
Why a cheat code?
because understanding it provides a foundation for everything. If you understand the math behind rhythms, you can play complex time signatures, like 54, way more accurately. It gives structure to the sound.
And it must help with memorization. You're not just memorizing random notes, you're memorizing a pattern, a story.
That's it, exactly. When you know that this section here is just a variation of the theme from the beginning, your memory becomes relational, not just rote. And that's what allows you to start composing or improvising, because you understand the rules you can follow or break.
Okay, let's zoom out to playing with other people. In a band, an orchestra, discipline takes on this whole new layer of cooperation.
Well, it's pure teamwork, a huge real-world lesson. When dozens of people are playing together, discipline means everyone follows the conductor. You have to watch for cues on tempo and volume, even if you personally think a section should be faster or louder.
You're giving up your individual preference for the good of the group.
You have to.
Yeah.
When it works, it's incredible. But if one person plays too loud or comes in late, the whole thing can fall apart. It's also about respect, showing up on time, being quiet when the conductor's talking. You're learning accountability.
And finally, let's bring it back to daily life. Time management. Young musicians have crazy schedules. School, sports, friends. How do you find those 30 minutes?
It takes planning. You have to treat practice like a doctor's appointment. It's non-negotiable. Use a planner, put it on your calendar. Maybe it's waking up 20 minutes earlier or practicing right after school.
And that means you have to say no to things sometimes. You might have to skip a video game session to meet your goals. That ability to choose long-term achievement over instant gratification is a huge life skill.
It is. But remember, even 5 minutes of focused practice on a super busy day is better than zero. You keep the habit going. You learn to juggle responsibilities, which is a massive advantage.
We should also touch on disciplined listening. Most people just have music on in the background. A musician has to be an active listener.
Right. You should listen to professional recordings of your pieces, not just to enjoy them, but to study them. How did they handle the dynamics? Where did they phrase the notes to tell the story?
It's detailed analysis, not background noise.
Yeah, you're trying to identify the different instruments, the structure. This trains your ear for pitch and expression. You're basically getting a free lesson from the best musicians in the world.
Ultimately, this all takes years, which brings us to the final type of discipline, long-term goals.
You need a clear vision. Setting a goal, like performing a difficult solo by the end of the year, is what keeps you focused when the daily practice feels like a grind.
And to stay motivated over that long haul, you have to see your progress.
It really helps to record yourself playing every few months. You won't notice the day-to-day improvement, but when you listen back, you'll hear it. That better tone, that faster tempo. It proves the process is working. Patience is just the discipline of waiting for that growth to happen.
So when you put all this together, what are the real rewards for you, the student, that go beyond music?
The benefits are universal. You get a huge sense of self-confidence from mastering something difficult. You learn, deep down, that hard work leads to results. The effort you put in is what you get out.
And probably the biggest advantage in today's world.
The ability to focus, to concentrate on a single complex task for a long time. In a world that is built to distract you, that skill of doing deep work is an absolute superpower.
That really is the true power of it. It creates a well-organized mind and a spirit that doesn't give up easily, whether you become a professional musician or not. That mental training lasts forever.
So think about your practice time today. Are you just playing the notes, or are you training the mental muscle that's going to help you succeed at everything else?
Good luck with your studies.